Okay, well, hopefully, we'll see if this thing works. To be determined. First off, thank you to Becky Sweetman for introducing me to Johan. Thank you, Johan, for having me. It's exciting to be speaking to people halfway across the world. I don't know how you guys are faring over there, but in New York, we're expecting about 6 to 8 inches of snow today. So lives are a little different, but everybody's inside. So happy to be healthy and well. All right, today I will be presenting on Einstein Activity Capture versus Match My Email, which is the app where I work. So, excuse my bias. I will try to be as informative and educational as possible. And as well, I realize I'm presenting to a lot of very experienced people in Salesforce that have much more experience than me. So please, if I make any mistake with vocabulary or my understanding, correct me because I'm still learning. And I think that's one of the great benefits of user groups is that I know I have a long way to go in my Salesforce career. So please correct me if I make any mistakes as the vocabulary or definitions. So the presentation is the clue is in our name. Our name is Match My Email. We'll start looking at the Salesforce suite of email and calendar integration products. They break it out into two main categories. They have mailbox integration products and they have sync and stream slash capture products. Mailbox integration products are Outlook slash Gmail integrations. These are free tools that Salesforce offers. They also have Salesforce Inbox, which many of you probably have heard of these tools before. The difference between mailbox integration and sync and stream slash capture apps is mailbox integration will put a side panel or a plugin into your email client where users can work out of, where sync and stream slash capture apps are going to be automatically streaming or capturing messages or calendar events all in the background. And so there will be no footprint of these apps in your email client, whether it's Outlook or Gmail or MacMail or something different. And then with sync and stream slash capture, there's Lightning Sync, which only syncs calendar events and contacts. And then they have EAC. They have a standard version and then they have a licensed version as well. If you pay for Salesforce Inbox, you're also going to have access to the licensed Einstein Activity Capture version. The standard version comes with 100 free licenses, and then the licensed version costs, I believe, the same as Inbox. So for the presentation, why not focus on Lightning Sync? Well, for starters, Lightning Sync is no longer available after the Winter 21 release, and I believe they're going to discontinue it completely around the end of 2021 or 2022. Salesforce is consistently moving that date around, so it's tough to really know when it'll be terminated, but they're phasing that app out. And then why not look at mailbox integration? Well, one, because our app, Match My Email, does not have a plugin. We try to avoid the human error. We take a different approach, and we're a sync and stream app. And so we're most like Einstein Activity Capture, which is the app that we'll focus on. So as far as the technical and the architecture of Einstein, it'll connect to these three email hosts: Gmail, Office, and Exchange. I think Gmail just recently, they changed it from G Suite to Google Workspace, and then Office changed their name from Office 365 to Microsoft 365. So the big players keep on changing their names, which can make things confusing, but for the easy understanding, Gmail, Office, and Exchange. When emails are synced, they're brought onto AWS's servers, processed, and then actually stored as well on these EAC AWS servers. And so what you're seeing in Salesforce when you have an Einstein email uploaded is actually just a virtual record in Salesforce. This prohibits a lot of traditional reporting, which I'll focus on. And it also, for the standard user, only limits the data storage to 6 months. If you're a licensed Einstein user, I believe that they'll expand that to maximum 2 years. So there is a real time constraint as to the data that's actually stored and where it's stored as well. Match My Email takes a different approach. We also can connect with Google Workspace, Microsoft 365, Exchange. We also can integrate with any other email host through an IMAP port. When we process emails, we're taking carbon copies of emails. We also are hosted on AWS, so we'll process the emails on our server, and then when we find a match, we'll upload those to Salesforce servers and store them on the same server where the rest of your data is in Salesforce. And this is great for reporting, compliance, and I'll show you that now. So with reporting, Einstein has a feature. They have something called the Activities Analytics Dashboard. It looks like this. Mind you, I've never had Einstein, so this is as much reading and information as I could gather. So many of you may know more about Einstein than I do. From what I've read, this dashboard is pretty inflexible. You can filter based off of the date, the activity type, and the owner of the activity. But other than that, you can't really customize reports much. Also, the data you can report on is only 90 days looking back for a standard user and 180 days looking back for a licensed user. And then lastly, if you were to leave Einstein, all of the email data that you've been accumulating is erased. So don't leave once you stay is the point. With Match My Email, we bring in emails we can bring them in 3 different ways, but most popular way, which I'm going to speak mostly about today, is our custom object. And so we actually store emails as their own objects in Salesforce. This enables some really cool reporting. Some of the most popular reports are a joined report showing activity and emails. So you can see emails sent and received by user joined with the number of calls they've had or meetings they've booked. As well, for some compliance companies we work with, you can quickly do a joined report with email messages and accounts or contact. And a lot of our firms are financial service firms that get audited. So it would be quite simple to just say, all right, give me all the emails sent in this X time period and run a report, and then export that to Excel or anything, hand that off to an auditor, and the process is over. The user interface. I'm going to follow Joey's example. I'm going to jump out of the presentation and go into a demo org now that I have. So our user interface, when we pull an email onto a record, as I mentioned earlier, we can upload emails in one of 3 ways. For this, I'll focus on the Einstein interface, which is probably most familiar with a lot of you all. Emails will end up, if you're importing from Einstein, they'll end up on the activities timeline in Lightning. If you're using Classic, I believe that Einstein actually won't work with Classic because it doesn't have enhanced email enabled in Classic. So they may still import to the the activity history, but I believe they'll upload the email as a task quite differently. So with Einstein, an enhanced email looks the following. The address or the subject in the above shows you who sent it, the body, and then you'll be able to use Salesforce's Composer down here. On my slide, you'll see the question is EAC and MME. So this is actually an example of a Match My Email email we've uploaded as an enhanced email. So I mentioned we can upload it in one of 3 ways. This copies exactly the technology of Salesforce's enhanced email, which Einstein uses as well. So we can cover the enhanced email, but that's only one of our ways. The way that I'd like to really highlight is we bring in emails as our own custom object. So we break those out on the Lightning record page into their own tab, which gives users a timeline of just emails. The custom object is called email messages. You can see the sender and the above. If you hover over the subject, you'll actually be able to see the body of the email. When we bring in emails, we convert everything to plain text out of HTML. If you scroll, you'll be able to see those replies that came earlier. And unlike Einstein, we do bring in attachments to emails automatically. If you're a company that has a ton of really big attachments and you want to limit the amount of data you're bringing in, we can set limits as well to the attachment size that we upload to Salesforce. And then in the below the email, you'll actually be able to see the context of it, which other records this email has automatically matched to. If you click the checkbox next to it, because it's its own custom object, it's pretty customizable. You can quickly add it or match it to a new record or unmatch it from a record. You can delete it if you have the proper permissions, and you can reply. And we have our own Lightning Web Component email composer that we've modeled just after Salesforce's as well. Attach files, insert merge fields, create, insert, or update templates directly from the screen. And you can add any users here, and that search will come up and you'll be able to find them. All right. And then if we go back, so that's Einstein. Some important facets when Einstein uploads as an enhanced email, it can only match to one what ID record. So that means only one account or only one opportunity or only one case. This is pretty limiting. With our custom object, it can match to multiple records. The way we do that is we create related object links between the original object and every other record that it matches to. So I've ran through our interface here. And then one of the major differences is Einstein really doesn't show you how it's working. We have something called the Match My Email tab, which is a dashboard that each user can see actually which emails our app has processed and where those emails have been matched to automatically in Salesforce. So we integrate with your email server on one side, and then we integrate with Salesforce server on the other side. And in the middle is our cloud posted on Amazon Web Services. And so this is actually a web frame, what you're seeing here. This is on our cloud still. And the only email that's been uploaded to Salesforce is the email that you can see on the right has been matched. So in the columns, we have the from, the to, subject, date, size, and then importantly, on the right, the matches column. In the rows, you can see the individual emails that have been processed. The way that we're going to match is most simply based off of address. So if we find in the to, the from, the CC, the BCC field, an email address that's also in the email field of a lead or a contact, we can match that. Our app is quite customizable. So if you wanted to create an email 2 field on a leader contact or an email 3 field, we can match it to those other fields as well. This is something that Einstein really is prohibitive on. They can only match to one email address for a leader contact. And so this is just a large database. If you receive an email from somebody that you haven't created a record for yet, if you hover over the no match here, this is that no match status, and click plus match, you can create a new record directly from our dashboard here. You can pull the email up side by side, take some of the information from it to make sure that data is correct, and populate the new contact or lead or account, whichever you decide to create. And last thing I'll say about this dashboard is this is a really good screen to be able to just make sure that no emails or any new leads or contacts have slipped through the cracks. You can filter based off of status. So no match status, you can refresh and see all the emails that haven't matched and quickly make sure that you haven't missed anything that's important on this page. Out of the box, users can only see their emails that have been processed, but we've worked with a bunch of companies that have asked us, is it possible to make it more transparent? Like for a sales manager, is it possible for him or her to see all of their sales reps' emails on one screen? And the answer is yes, but we need your permission, especially if you're based in Europe with GDPR compliance. And that just is this screen here where you can actually then see multiple people's inboxes. All right. The setup. So setting up Einstein, from what I've read, you can do it on a user level, an org level, or something called a service account. I'm not familiar with the service account. I'm not quite sure how that works. Maybe some of you folks are. But from a user level, the end user goes through an authentication wizard. They have to type in their email address and password, and then they can get the integration set up, and the emails will start to be processed. From the org level, Salesforce Einstein Activity Capture only integrates with 365 hosted email, and I would assume that it's similar to how we do it, integrating using OAuth 2.0 and kind of centrally administering Einstein, probably by the global admin of your 365 domain or the Salesforce admin. With Match My Email, we can do user level for those IMAP ports that we connect with, or we can do org level with Google Workspace and 365 hosted emails. Again, we use OAuth 2.0 to authenticate. And the back end is really, really easy for Salesforce admins. So I think most of you would appreciate the simplicity of getting new users activated or deactivated on our app. It would require an integration to be made with your email host, which for 365 is a global admin needs to be on the call, and then for Google Workspace is the Google super admin. So here's our control panel on the back end. When you download our managed package, you're going to see a list of all of the Salesforce licensed users on this users tab here. When you download the package, they'll all be deactivated. The next step would be to just create an email integration here. When you add that integration, you'll choose which type of email you're hosted on, which service. And then it really is as simple after you've created that integration to just activate toggling this button here for a new user or or deactivating an old user. Nice feature of our app too is with Einstein, you can only import from email addresses that are associated to licensed Salesforce users. So we have a lot of clients who have emails that are like, a sales at matchmyemail.com or support at matchmyemail.com. And those email addresses aren't associated with Salesforce users, but we need those emails to end up in Salesforce. You can add extra imports for a user with our app as well. And then just recently, we are now able to sync calendar events for 365, and we're hoping that in the next 3 weeks, we'll be able to sync events from Google Workspace as well. So that's what that looks like on the back end. Customization. Our ability to customize, I mentioned it briefly, with the custom fields like an email 2 field or an email 3 field. There's for you developers out there, a ton of customization that we can do. We can create custom matching scripts. So especially with opportunities, contacts, or any sort of custom objects, you face a real challenge with opportunities in that sometimes you have an email matched to a contact that has multiple open opportunities. And so you don't want that email to roll up into all, let's say, 3 open opportunities that person's a party to. So we have something called precision matching, which allows our app to look for unique IDs in the body of an email and match it to the ID of an object. Joey showed us that in the URL, each record has that 18-character ID. We can embed that 18-character ID automatically in emails sent out of our custom email composer in Salesforce. And this also helps people work out of Salesforce, which user adoption is always a main concern. Again, you can use our app with Process Builder if you want to create any triggers or flows. I'm not all that familiar with this. You folks probably know more, but we've had customers in the past that, if you have a structured email body, you can start to take some of that data out of that structured email and create a new lead or a new contact from that. Another example would be if you have a field domain on an account and you receive an email from somebody that's not a contact, you can auto contact create based off of that shared domain with an account. Einstein, to my knowledge, they only work with standard Salesforce objects. or standard Salesforce fields. I did see buried in one of the Salesforce email presentations I was watching this down here, which custom object support is available for $50 per user per month as part of Sales Cloud Einstein. Match my email, all of our support and all of our customization comes with the subscription. So some additional features. Einstein is it's possible currently to match or sync calendar events with Google Workspace. They'll only look 4 months into the future though. And as I mentioned, we're hopefully going to be able to release that soon. We had already spoken about multiple email addresses for a Who record. We have an extra layer of security and filtering emails. I didn't mention this, but we can set ignore rules. So can Einstein for some domains or some email addresses to say don't upload those emails. But we have an extra layer called confidential tagging, which I can go into more depth if anybody's interested. We can match to unlimited what records, which I had spoken about briefly on the interface slide. And then I had already mentioned that they can add non-Salesforce licensed users as well. Lastly, I'll say, important to everybody out there, our support staff is really, really great. It's a real pain when you can't get in contact with anybody from Salesforce when you have an issue. So that's a major plus for us. And my favorite part of the presentation is Einstein jumping over to our ship. Good reviews on the App Exchange, some major customers that have used us, and then again the testimonial. It says it does exactly what it says it does. So the clue is in the name. If you're interested and have any other questions or would like to speak, happy to talk, and I can send this out to anybody who's interested afterwards. But again, thank you to Becky for inviting me, and thank you to Johan for allowing me to join. Really appreciate it, guys.
Thanks, Sam. It's a good presentation. I never see this tool before.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyone have any question for Sam?
I just have a comment because I've used the tool. I just wanted to say that as an admin, it was so super easy, like much easier than I thought it would be. After I tried to dive into Einstein Activity Capture and got lost in it, and then went to match my email, it was just like miles different. So, and our users also really appreciated that dashboard, so that they felt like they had a bit more control about what was in. They knew exactly which emails were going in and what was being captured, and they could easily, ignore or add to their heart's content. So, yeah, a really good tool. I'm really happy with it.
Thanks, Becky.
Thanks.
Just to check one thing, Sam. For this match my email, let's say I just add a contact in Salesforce, like with some specific emails. Will my previous email pull in to Salesforce, or just on that moment the contact added to Salesforce?
Actually, good question. All those previous emails will be pulled in also, only 45 days back. So if you create a new contact, we can pull emails from 45 days ago, but nothing past that. We have a feature for subscribed users called legacy imports. So a lot of people are new to Salesforce and they're looking for an email integration tool, and they have a whole bunch of old emails in their history that they need to pull in. Our tool can pull in all the old emails that they may have sent or received before starting and using Salesforce. So it's possible both ways, but if you're a user, 45 days, and then if you go through a separate process, an end user can pull from as far back as you'd like.
Interesting. Okay,